Ratios, everybody, ratios. So, the dictionary tells us that a ratio is the quantitative relationship between two things or two amounts or two numbers, whatever. In sales, we would say, what's our closing ratio, for example? So we might say, well, for every 10 prospects that we actually make a proper presentation to, on average, we close 3 of them. So we've got a closing ratio of 3, okay? So we want to talk about getting or improving our ratios and getting our results up. And I've come up with a little formula. Unfortunately, I don't have a whiteboard here, so if you want to write this down, write down the word ratio, but write it down on top, the letters on top of each other. So R-A-T-I-O. So you write it down like that, and then across on the R, what I'd like you to write is P-P-O-R-T, so that the R spells rapport. So we know that the more in rapport we are with someone who we are trying to do business with or build a relationship of any kind, the more likely or the higher the ratios for success become. So for example, people buy from people who they perceive, and that's a key word, they perceive to be like that. So we need to raise our levels of awareness when it comes to in tuning when we're on the telephone of what type of person we're talking to. Because if we can kind of meld ourselves or, get in good rapport with their type of personality, then we will stand a better chance of improving the ratio. So we're just going through this very quickly, by the way. Next word on the A, T-T-I-T-U-D-E, attitude. A positive mental attitude and projecting that attitude of positivity and the desire to provide a good service to our prospect or our suspect or our existing customer, if we're looking to upsell, is absolutely key. So really, every day, fine-tune your attitude. Great ways you can actually fine-tune your attitude is starting the day with a little bit of exercise, 10 or 15 minutes to get the blood circulating and get that feeling of positivity, get those endorphins going round, and maybe listen to 5 or 10 minutes of somebody like me who's positive most of the time, or whoever you like to listen to, or read something uplifting and positive, and try and read something which talks about the profession of selling itself. So really get a good attitude and a good mindset towards sales. So that's the R and the A. The next letter is T, and I can't even spell this, but it's tenacious or tenacity. And what that means, quite simply, a really easy word to correlate to that is stickability, is sticking with it and keeping going, keeping on, and going the extra mile. When you've had loads and loads and loads of no's or rejections or nobody picking up, or even worse, people hanging up on you, then just keep going, because we know that the ratios tell us, so therefore we do know that the more no's we get in succession, the closer we're going to get to a bunch of yeses, a bunch of interested people who will be absolutely willing to engage and have a conversation with us. So that's that word. The next word begins with an I, and it's very simply initiative. Use our initiative, guys. For example, one client I was dealing with, they've got a great sales manager. He's been out on an appointment recently. And rather than just having the blinkered tunnel vision with that particular client, he's asked them lots of searching questions. He's found out they've got 2 or 3 sister companies, and they were only too willing to give him referrals, which, as we've talked about before, are the easiest type of business to close. 70% plus more chance of closing a referral lead than a lead that's been paid for on social media or advertising on the television or in the newspaper. Hugely profitable because they're by and large free unless we give a little incentive, bottle of wine or something like that as a thank you. So using our initiative to find out as much as we can and to be as helpful as we can is absolutely vital in being an effective salesman and increasing our sales and our closing ratios. And the last word, beginning with an O, is what all good salespeople invariably are, is organized. Get yourself organized. Get your diary plan. A great maxim that I heard from Jim Rohn was, don't start the day until you've finished it on paper. In other words, have a game plan, a blueprint, a strategy for your day. And another word for strategy is just a recipe, a collection of everything you need to put into the day, just as if you were making trying to make the greatest Christmas cake in the world. You'd have a recipe, and you'd get that recipe. Usually you'd find out who's really good at making a great recipe, a great Christmas cake, and you'd copy their recipe. You'd model their behavior, and invariably you would come out with a very similar, lovely Christmas cake. So get a great strategy for the day. If you don't know how to strategize your day, there's loads of information on planning and timekeeping and goal setting and all that sort of thing out there for free on the internet. And of course you can buy books and go on courses for that sort of thing. But get yourself organized, guys. If you're organized, the opposite of being organized is being chaotic. And chaos is no good to any of us. So that's it, guys. A little acronym there for you to write out. Ratios. Let's increase our sales ratios. Let's increase our suspect to prospect ratios. And let's increase our prospect to new client or customer our closing ratios. And let's increase the ratios of upsells that we get with our existing customers and clients, because of course that's our warm market. And let's also increase our ratio of referrals that we get from our existing customers. And you can even get referrals. There's a way we'll cover in another video to get referrals from people who maybe don't buy from you now because the timing's not right or the budget's not there, but they're still happy if they like you and they like the principle of what you do to refer you to friends with other friends with businesses, so on and so forth. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I've really enjoyed delivering that to you. And please check the video out, share the video, give it a like, do all the stuff that we do on social media, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm Steve Q. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.